High Level is a full CRM and marketing platform, and I've used some of the best in the SaaS industry. Thing. What's that about? We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and X. It's a Revening's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday, Revenue Party people. We've got the hot topics, hot prizes, and hot guests. And I have the really hot, relevant mug. I wish I could do like a little mirror thing, but it says you're on mute. And it started this episode on mute. But anyway, if you're tuning in, we'd love to hear from you. This conversation is for you, our audience. So let us know. What do you do for a living? Where are you tuning in from? We've got someone in Florida. Where else are you from? I'm in Ohio. But we want to hear from the audience as we get started. But, you know, it wouldn't be Wednesday if I didn't tell you about some tech tools before we get started. So, of course, I have to tell you about StreamYard. And this is the one that, like, surprises me. People really actually do sign up on this affiliate link. And you know what we do here at Revening is we help businesses go live on LinkedIn and YouTube. But if you don't need it done for you, you can do it for yourself. We are using StreamYard to go live on tonight. And this is an awesome tool because it allows us to be creative. We can upload videos. We can simulcast to multiple channels. Super cool. Just scan that QR code and you'll be on our affiliate link. I'd be happy to help you if you end up deciding to sign up because I get a little cut. So yeah, give me a call. Let us know. Also, I want to tell you about High Level. It's a tool that we use here internally. We've like fully adopted it. We don't just use it for ourselves. We've white labeled it. It's app.revening.com for us. And we give it to our clients as well. So they have a full service CRM and marketing automation platform. So when they get started with Revening, we can help them capture their leads. We can help them send their marketing emails, create web forms, all those things. It's just already there. So yeah, it's an agency platform as well. We have multiple accounts within ours. And if you're listening on podcast, just go to revening.com/high level for our affiliate link there. And it's also on the screen as a QR code if you're watching. But enough of that. Let's get into our topics for tonight. But, you know, of course, before we do get into our really hot topics, because they're going to go from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, I want to bring in our really experienced guests who are going to, they're going to lead the conversation here. I'm going to be in the background just asking questions, because if you went and you checked out our guests today on LinkedIn, you know, and you saw what they posted about, and this is going to be a really great conversation. So if you haven't done that yet, go find them on LinkedIn, check out their posts, and let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Bianca and Kevin. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi,
Thank you so much. It's so nice to see you all.
Yes, absolutely. So great to be here. So let's get started. We've got 2 minutes we're going to put up on the clock, and we'd like to know your full life story from birth to what brought you to now in 2 minutes. Kevin, can you kick us off?
Sure, let's do it. So, hi everybody, Kevin Andreosky, uh, born and raised in Jersey. Always sales. Started my own boat company. You name it. Always hustling. Always bringing value. Um, got into sales about 15 years ago. Tech sales, enterprise sales in New York. Working with Salesforce, Thomson Reuters. You name it. Very large strategic deals. And outside of that, always being in sales, I'm always grinding and leveling up my game. So being in New Jersey, being by the Jersey Shore, surfing, and then challenging myself. I had a friend of mine who said, "Hey, you need more out of life." So I got into triathlons. So 3-time Ironman over here. And with that comes, making a decision, planning and executing, bring that to business as well. So for me, it's just fun showing people a new way to do things, value in business, personal life. Now I live down in Florida, and thanks, Andrew. Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for joining. Live down in Florida because I love the warm weather. I'm done with the cold weather. And for me, it's just, I'm consulting these days, helping businesses because everybody's trying to learn AI, figure out AI, and we're just showing them the pathway of how to do things easier. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. Big outdoors, love adventure, love documentaries, and just love helping people. And I'm really excited to be here tonight to bring some value to people, and they could take action with the stuff we're going to talk about. So thanks for having me, and yeah, very excited to be here.
And you have your ukulele.
I do.
Neon green.
I love the uke. It's fun.
I mean, while you're on stage, can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
So the pandemic hit. I always wanted to play an instrument, and I bought a ukulele and just started going, like, just practicing on YouTube. There's a lot of free resources out there, and I always say just be resourceful. And that was 6 years ago now. And every morning I play the uke as part of my meditation practice, and has opened up different conversations. I play happy birthday, all my friends, and anybody who ever needs a happy birthday song, they're personalized. So it's a lot of fun, and it just brings me joy. Just a nice way to just chill and relax as I start my day, and also in the evening. So
yes, awesome. Yes. I love that.
Thank
All right,
you.
well, we'll switch gears over to you, Bianca. We want to learn more about you and your full life story from birth to what brought you to now in 2 minutes.
Jessie, that's a lot of pressure to give you my whole life story in 2 minutes, but I'll do my best. So yeah, I'm Bianca. I actually have a very multicultural background. I'm half Polish, half Chilean. I was born in Sweden, and I also lived in like 10 different countries throughout my life. And I speak 5 languages fluently. And I think, I'm a linguistics major. So I think that's how my sort of my passion, my maybe even obsession with communication started, and where it came from. I started my career actually in a huge corporation, selling hardware, selling motherboards and SSDs. But corporate life was absolutely not for me. I didn't feel like there was any sort of like impact, not the kind of impact that I wanted to make. So I changed into startups, and I've been working in startups and mid-market companies ever since, and based in Germany, based in the United States. And in startups, you basically touch every part of marketing. So, product marketing and community. I was actually once just handed a community of like 20,000 active contributors, developers for like a dev company, and was just like, okay, like that's a huge community. So yeah, mostly B2B SaaS. And right now at the moment, I run product marketing and events at Chili Piper. So yeah, that's me. And also, awesome. I can very much relate to Kevin about what he said, that like he was sick of the cold and moved to a warmer place. That's exactly what I did. And I've successfully avoided winter for about 10 years now.
Nice. I wish I could say the same, but yeah, I've had some cold winters here in Ohio. Yeah. And I met Bianca actually in person. I don't normally get to meet WinsDay guests in person, but we did meet at Chili Palooza, which was an awesome event. And yeah, I don't know, like
We're
love
running the
people
next
who have-
one probably like next year, so I hope you can join us as well. It's a really
Where's
cool
it going to
event
be
for
next year? Do you
GTM.
know?
I'm actually I've been researching locations this year. Maybe Arizona or maybe Montana. I don't know. Like we're playing around with a few ideas, like just a special location.
Montana.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, let's
Love
get
it.
into these hot topics. And people in the audience, we want to hear from you. If even anyone's there on our Wednesday night here, let us know your thoughts on being found beyond traditional SEO. And audience, as we're getting into this topic, let's ask Kevin to kick us off on it. Kevin, can you do so?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a good one. It's funny because I literally was talking about this this morning with a client who everybody's just talking about, AI and how I want to be ranked on Google. And Google, I don't want to say SEO is dead, but now everybody, they're using your LLMs. So your large language models, whether it's Gemini, Claude, Grok, open, Chat GPT, you name it. So you want to be found there. And everybody, talk about like answer engine optimization, so AEO. And if you figure out the AEO, the SEO will take care of itself. And Google ranks, but you'll be AI repeats, reputation. So what does that mean? So if I'm a company today, you'll be able to, you could search, go to Open Claude, and you could say like, okay, type in your company. If you don't show up, what sources show up there? And that's where you want to focus. So you put a plan around that. After that, it's really having an FAQ in real language, not using AI. And then the third party referrals. So your reviews, doing podcasts like this, that information really weights in the AI algorithm. So that's going to help you when people are searching, for whatever company. And it's all about like having a clear brand. So whether you're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it might be, make sure the messaging is spot on. Like keep it simple, but make sure it's all accurate and all the same, because that helps with the search. And then you want to specify your niche. So if you are in sales, what type of sales? Who are you focused on? The guy we were talking to today, he's focused on, with dentists, but he's specific as it relates to dental surgery, in a specific region. So being specific, having a clear brand message, having that third party, those reviews and everything else, the FAQ, keeping those simple. And then, finding those sources. If you're not popping up, somebody else is, and putting a plan and going, down to that path. That's going to really help you with the AEO, and then the SEO will take care of itself.
Definitely. Yeah.
Kevin, do you think that there's like two distinct strategies that companies need to have these days? Like one for like the traditional SEO still, and one for AEO? Or do you think those are basically the same? Like I love asking this question because people are just like, giving me vastly different answers to this. And I love to stir the pot.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, great question. So I would say yes, right? Because you always because there's a lot of folks who I think the stat is like less than 2% are using like AI, and they don't know how to use it. And everybody's in in pilots, but they're not really using it. So the traditional still works with the SEO, but then it's like, I always tell people like baby steps and just start testing the AEO. So leveraging it. And then from there, it's like putting a plan together towards that AEO. And, 2 is always better than 1. And focusing there, but it's like having somebody who actually knows, the steps. And, going back to, my Ironman days, decide, plan, execute. That's what you're putting together. It's like making a decision and then, putting a plan in place and spending, if it takes an extra day to week, and do baby steps and always have those KPIs behind it, because it's about the numbers and the data to make sure you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for sure a little bit tricky these days now with
it's changing
to do much more with less, right? Like
and everybody's like, and Yeah, and everybody's like, I want to use AEO, or excuse me, like AI, and it's like, well, what does that mean? And like, what do you really need? And just like really spending the time, the planning, like that's where I spend the majority of time when I'm talking with clients, is like the plan and the outcomes. Like that's what it is, and like focusing time there, of having that plan, because it's easy to set stuff up, but it's like the execution. That's where you want to spend the time.
Definitely. All good
Yeah.
stuff. Thank you both for drilling into this. And yes, great topics. We did get a lot of really great questions too. So maybe
Sure.
before I get into any of my comments, I want to make sure some of what AP's asking gets answered. He's asking, how is AI SEO changing things? Who's using AI to look stuff up and why? Why does
Well,
it
isn't
matter?
everyone? Sorry, can I just answer that one, because like
Yeah.
it's everyone, right? Like we like even if you're not. I mean, I work mostly with like buyers, B2B buyers that are using solutions like Claude and ChatGPT to already look up stuff, right? Like they don't go to Google anymore; they are using Claude. So, but they are, let's say, like the most advanced folks who are doing this. But there, I think everyone, even like like the demographic of maybe people that are not tech savvy at all, they get the AI overviews, right? Like they probably won't click into a specific page anymore like they used to. They're going to see that overview and they're going to be satisfied with that answer and just learn and move on, right? So I think we can just safely assume that everyone is this whole world is like AI forward now, and we just need to adapt. So that's why like what we feed into those what we feed those LLMs and what information about us we feed them is like so important right now. And it's a little bit like the old days of like social media algorithms that we sort of get used to one way of, okay, if we do this thing this way, then we'll be successful in the AI game. But that's going to change in a month again, right? Like the algorithm is going to change, the how to be successful and AIO is going to change, and we need to relearn. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So a couple more really great questions. So the difference between AEO and GEO. I'm curious if you would change your strategy for someone who had more of an online business or an in-person business more. Who
No.
wants to take that one?
Yeah, I would say the strategy is the same, because you just want to be found, and as Bianca was saying, it's like people are using it left and right, like just chatting with it. So no, it's just making sure you have like the brand, the reviews. I would say if I was going to pick one, it would be those reviews, because as we, with Google reviews, you check everything. You go to a new town, you want to see the reviews. So getting that, the AI will source that. So it's the same.
Anything you'd add, Bianca?
I don't have much experience with like in-person businesses. I live in like the B2B SaaS world where everything is is online. But I would also agree with that sentiment.
Absolutely. Right. Well, let's get into our next topic, moving down the funnel a little bit. So they've been found beyond SEO, and they've landed on your website. Lucky you. So websites that convert the AI buyer. Can you kick us off with what you know here? Your post was super interesting today, Bianca.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, considering that like the world of like how people get information is changing, right? Like people are not going to your websites anymore. I think that there was a stat that I saw that if there's an AI overview and let's say someone Googles something and there's an AI overview that comes up, people won't click anymore, right? Like it's natural, it's obvious. I certainly don't click on blog posts or websites. I don't care about any blog post of any company, honestly. Sorry. But I think so since we're as buyers learning in a very, very different way, the website needs to be different, right? It has a different role now. Before, buyers would go to your website to actually learn and understand, what does the product do? What can I do, right? Like what's the industry? Like they would try to understand what it is that you're selling and what it is that they can help you with. But now websites are not, informing is not enough anymore. Websites need to convert, right? So the moment a lead just lands, you need to do everything to convert them, right? Like I, from my experience with Chili Piper, we work a lot with companies that want to get people to booked meetings, booked demos. And there's, I think, like two different sets of levers that we actually have control over as marketers. I'm here from a marketing perspective. I think one is speed. So how fast we actually respond to qualified visitors, like how fast we can get them to a meeting, right? So maybe, someone fills out a form and then they get a thank you message, like they want to contact you, right? Like they want to have a meeting with you. They already filled out the form, but then it takes, an actual person reaching out to them, probably the next business day, and like trying to schedule a meeting, that will happen a few days later. This is where you basically get drop-offs, right? So how fast you get to people matters a lot. And the second lever, I'd say, is effort. So make it as easy as possible for your leads to actually get to where they want. Maybe an example would be when they try to schedule a meeting. Maybe you should offer them, like a scheduling that gives them like maximum right there in the form, right after they fill out the form, give them a scheduling widget that gets them to a meeting that is like they can set up at the time they prefer with all the options, right? We live in such an AI forward world that this is not hard anymore. This is really not hard anymore. And we should all be working on like increasing speed and reducing the effort that it takes to convert folks. And I think, Jessie, you were mentioning our data, because we very recently, actually, today is Wednesday, yesterday, we released our benchmarks report. So, just by nature of Chili Piper, we have access to like a lot of form fills, like how many, I think it was based on 6 million form fills. So folks that filled out a form to ask for a meeting. And we looked into how many form fills of qualified users actually ended up in a meeting. So these are people who filled out the form, that asked for a meeting, that were qualified already, right? Those are your ICPs. And it turns out that 4 out of 10 of those folks drop off and never get a meeting, which is crazy, right? We invested so much. This is like a lead we already paid for, we already invested in. And they just, very often they just disappear, right? So finding ways to really like reduce that friction, to maybe think of like some re-engagement, think of shared availability for account executive to get those folks to book and actually meet with you.
All good stuff. Thanks for drilling into the website a little bit, especially with the mindset of the AI buyer. What's your take on all this, Kevin?
I love it. Yeah, I always, speed wins at the end of the day. Like
That's true.
Yeah.
It really is, because like you have Amazon, it's so easy. I'll use them because it's so easy to do business with them. It is just, even returns. Sometimes they're like, hey, don't even return it. Keep it. We'll credit your account. And people want that. And I know Bianca said it a few times, it's like reducing that friction. And, it's all about the outcomes, because a lot of times too, people don't want, I could tell you, like my partner, like she doesn't really like talking to salespeople. And I have friends who don't want to talk to salespeople, because it's like, you got to set up a meeting and do this. And it's like, there's a gap, and it's just like, you want it now. It's top of mind. So it's like, how do you make it so easy for somebody? And it's like using AI, leveraging the tools to shorten that gap so they could see a demo, start a pilot. Because at the end of the day, it's all about outcomes. And it's like, how can you show them those outcomes faster? And the sale starts on day one, like the experience. And if you have a poor, even just setting up a meeting, like if it's, I could tell you I had something the other day with a company, and I'm like, nope, not easy. See you later. So
People don't have the patience anymore, right? Like,
Zero.
because they will not wait for you. They will just not wait for you, right? And it's also just because also they're more informed, right? They don't need you to, they don't need your website. They don't need a person to get all the information because they have Claude and ChatGPT and AI overviews, right? They're already informed. So like the you know, if they do give you the time of day to meet with you or to sign up for your product, they are already very warm and good leads, which is amazing. Agreed. Which is the good part of it all, right?
It's
definitely, yeah. That's what people want. They want leads, right? Qualified leads. Ideally 10 out of 10, not 4 out of 10. like qualified, ready to buy.
Here right now, we're going to figure out how to get to 10 out of 10.
Yes. How do we do that? Well, you know, I don't know. I guess maybe we should talk about closing deals when buyers delay.
Oh, man.
We will get into that topic next, but in terms of websites that convert AI buyers, anything else either of you would add? And if not, let me start there. Kevin, any more that you would like to add before I ask a final question to Bianca?
I would say with the website, like keep it so easy. And just like it's the experience. I say go try out. Like if you have a company, like go buy from your own company and see if you like it, right? And just I would say that it's just like see it and then go buy from if you're up against a competitor in a deal, literally go buy their product or go sign up for a demo, like go see what they're doing, because it's just like the experience and seeing how long it takes. And then maybe you could use that as ammunition, you know, in when you're bringing value to the deal. Like at the end of the day, it's all about bringing value like every single time. It's like, how do you stand out?
Like,
and if you're not gonna, and if you're not gonna do it, your competitor is gonna just do it faster and better than you.
Yes, yeah, and that's and I'll tell. I was saying, you know, a handwritten note goes a long way. That's what I'll say.
Be human. Yes, a handwritten note, definitely.
Yeah.
So Bianca, what actionable steps do you think people could take to get started in terms of like converting more AI buyers?
Yeah, so I think Kevin also alluded to this, right? Like you just need to figure out like what your current process is, evaluate what is happening on your website right now, and finding the gaps and the potential leaks, right? So yeah, one thing that I already mentioned, like, you know, you need to again, with tools right now, like it's so much easier to identify your ideal accounts. Right? There's like tools around account identification where you can actually know when someone in your ICP, especially like maybe an enterprise lead, right? You can know now that they are on your website. So why are you giving them like the same website experience as everyone else, right? They probably need a better experience, right? Like maybe there's a special banner that could pop up or a special content offer specifically relevant to them. Or a chat AI, right? Like now chat is like chatbots are so popular these days. Maybe a chatbot that has a very tailored, a very personalized message specifically to them. Or right, maybe someone from your ICP is already on your website, on your pricing page for like, I know, 5-10 minutes. If they're on your website, if they're on your pricing page for 10 minutes, they are close, right? So why not like a scheduling widget, like schedule a meeting now? So things like that to really like encourage people to go further down the funnel a little bit quicker, especially if they're right fit. Another idea I think I also mentioned is re-engagement, right? Those 4 meetings that never happened. What happens to those? You know, maybe an AE will follow up, maybe they won't, maybe they'll do it in a week, maybe they'll do it in a month. Who knows? Again, AI now, we can automate these things, figure out ways to automate re-engagement. That's another idea to sort of like fill those leaks. Does that answer your question, Jessie?
Yeah, just make it as easy as possible for them to move down the funnel as much as they can or will.
Yeah. So but it's like just like Kevin said, right? You just need to understand what your website is doing right now. Like what the experience is right now, what the competitors are doing right now, and just be better than
better than your competitors.
Just be better.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just build the biggest chicken shop. It's like you got one chicken shop on one side of the street and one chicken shop on the other side of the street. Like, which one are you going to choose? You just have to be the better one. But yeah, we've got a comment from David Goki. Wow, measuring time on pricing pages. Genius. Yes, that would be our homepage for us. We put our pricing right on our homepage. I just updated it this week. Anyway, I digress. We're going to get into our next topic, which is closing deals when buyers delay, but we're going to do that right after this brief message. At Reveting, we help B2B founders, executives, brands turn their live streaming into a real revenue channel. One live stream turns into a podcast, it turns into a social clip, it turns into email content like a newsletter, and actual sales conversations. You get to have a lot of conversations with people when you have a podcast or a live stream like this. And if you want to be known, trusted, and remembered in your industry without being online 24/7, worrying about your posting, this is what we do. Just head on over to reveting.com and let's build your show.
I want to give a quick testimonial for the Reveting team. I was really nervous about doing lives. They very much have helped me increase my reach and online presence. So thank you, Reveting.
I love what you and the team do. I've been picking up 50 followers a day just because that content is resonating so well. It's working across a lot of different channels for me.
One of the problems that we struggle with is getting our brand out there. Her team have been able to do for us is the idea of going live on LinkedIn and using that platform to its fullest extent through the way they're able to take the live event and break it down into bite-sized posts, video clips, as well as the content within the posts themselves.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now, he has a $50K per month business, fully managed by a remote operator in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM and Go high level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
Yes, be like Mike. And if you're on podcast, we're showing a menu of services that Cherry Assistant offers. And yeah, it includes a lot of things. So whatever it is that you're doing, just think about delegating. That's how you're obviously going to grow. And if you decide to use Cherry Assistant, just make sure that you tell them that you heard about them through WinsDay for $250 off your first month. And best of luck with that. But let's talk about closing deals. So closing deals when buyers delay. Ugh, I love a one-call close. And to me, sometimes, like, if you're not going to close on the call, like, is it even worth my time? Because I'm a marketer and I sort of feel like, I don't want to chase you down, because if you don't want to do it, then like, I only want to create content with people who really want to create content. So I don't know, as the seller, I guess I am, because I'm a marketing agency, a marketer selling marketing. Like, it's the delay really kills the vibe for me. So how do we close deals when buyers delay, Kevin?
It starts with prayer, if you believe in it. I would say prayer, every little bit helps. Yeah, it's it's been going on. There's no secret sauce or certain way, because it happens even to the best buyers, right? Things, people, you get ghosted, deals don't close, whatever that might be. And we said it earlier, like, be human at the end of the day, because you have all different methodologies, but meet your buyer where they're at. So I would say, number one, like, human to human, understand who you're talking to. I would say, now with this large complex deals, make sure you're talking to the person, like, and mapping it out and having that plan of understanding, like, who's signing the check, who's signing the deal, the agreement, who's involved in deals. I could tell you, I remember a few years back, I lost the deal. It wasn't because of price. It wasn't because of, what we did and how we ran the sale, it was because we didn't really show love to the one end user, and she had a vote, and it wasn't unanimous, and the other group won, the other company won. So it's just like making sure you're aligning, with everybody who's involved, whether it's legal service, whether it's large deal, small deal, make sure you understand like, who's involved and what's the value to them, because every single time it's bringing value to that person. So the CFO, he's going to have, different KPIs versus, the end user versus legal or, whomever. So make sure you're mapping that out, planning that, because you're earning trust. And, I always tell people, setting the expectations from day one, having a timeline, understanding, when do they want to go live, work backwards, but it's, bringing that value there. And value could be a scorecard from day one of like, hey, here's our steps, here's our process, this is where we're at today, how does this look, and just confirming and reconfirming and getting an agreement up front from them. I give out, with some of the folks that I work with today, I'll tell them like, hey, I know you're going to go talk to other people, here are questions that I would ask if I'm in your shoes, because that way, it prepares them. We understand the questions they're asking, and we will know exactly like, hey, I'm helping them. And it gives me, the opportunity to earn their business. And, people are saying, a lot of times people like they delay, what's the delay? Was there a change? And the background, I didn't share this in the beginning. I used to be a journalist, so I'm not shy. Ask those difficult questions, but it's, quantifying numbers, and, shout out to Jay-Z, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, tie everything back to numbers, show them the value. Like if they're not moving forward, map it out. Hey, if it's 3 more days or 5 more days or 2 more months, whatever that might be, this is what you're going to lose. This is how it's impacting your business. Tie it to their bottom line. Nobody likes losing money. I'll tell you that. So you have that, you're shrinking the yes, and then everything's about outcomes. You could tell me about your product, you could do everything, but how is it going to help me? And it's the outcome. So maybe that's a pilot. Maybe it's setting up a taste of like, hey, here's a little example. You could try it for a 3-day trial, depending if you're a larger business, whatever that might be, but tie everything to outcomes. Pilots for, larger deals that we work with, having a pilot 60 to 90 days, I'd say no more than that, but having those KPIs, but it's that communication, setting up, hey, we're going to talk, every week at this specific time, and understanding, are we hitting it? And it's just like looking at the data at the end of the day. And then it's just like, if you could hit that, you earn the trust. And, what we were saying before, speed wins. Bianca said it, like, do it. That's what people want. They want the outcomes.
People want the outcomes. Yeah. And the Jay-Z comment, like that was just everything. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
And I've used that. And sometimes it knocks it out of the park. And I'll be the first one to tell you, like I said it at a conference and nobody said anything. And I didn't know my audience. And that was just like, oh man, I should have said like Elvis said that. I kid, but yeah.
He kids, but not really.
Not really.
And it's all about the data.
It's all about the data.
The Benjamins and the data and the numbers. But I would love to hear what are your thoughts on any of this? I mean, I loved what he said about including decision makers, but I know we're more at the top of the funnel, Bianca. But when you think about closing deals with buyer delay, what are your thoughts?
I actually wanted to mention something a little bit later when we're going to be talking about communities. But I think the buying community is something that people sometimes omit or like don't focus on that much. I think we, at least in marketing or in like high stakes deal, we want to talk to the decision maker, right? We want to, get the decision maker on the meeting, get the decision maker to sign the document, right? But I think there's a huge power in even like individual contributors into kind of influencing the decisions. So I was actually at a developer marketing company where it was the developers, just the engineers working on like huge corporations that used our product on their like personal passion projects, and would go to their boss, to their CTO, saying, hey, like, we're using this old horrible tool. I don't want to use that anymore. I don't want to work here if we're not using this modern cool tool, that Bianca is selling, right? So this is how we, how the company really drove revenue, and it was absolutely incredible. So yeah, just considering the buying committee as well, I think that helps sort of speed up the decisions, right? Because if you have good champions, it can really convince the final decision maker to make that decision for you.
I know what I'll say too, and also flip it, because sometimes people think the process might be like, if they move faster, and then you could flip it and be like, hey, here's our internal process. Legal typically takes about a week. We have a committee internal, and flip it and explain to them, because they move really fast, but then you're slower. They're going, is my implementation, is this going to be the experience that I get with them? So just make sure you flip it and explain, especially if it's like end of quarter, end of year, or whatever that might be. Tell them like, hey, on average, it takes X amount of time to do, which is really important.
Yeah, just be completely upfront with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like all of that. Any last final words, or like, same question I gave Bianca, like, what is the actionable advice you would give people on closing deals when buyers delay? Like, how do we transition into that mindset?
Yeah, I would say to just be upfront, right? Just it's just being human. Be like, hey, we had a great conversation. Is this still a priority? Is this about last time we spoke, this was number one. Is this still a priority on your list? What's changed? And people will be like, hey, maybe they got new leadership. Maybe there's layoffs going on. There's so many different things that could impact the sales. So just be upfront with them and be real. Just be authentic. You just said it before. Just be authentic, and just be like, hey, that's what I would say. We're human at the end of the day. That's it. Things happen. Things move on. I think you just want transparency. That's my word for this year. Transparency. So just be transparent.
Yeah, transparency. That's a good word. Okay, well, let's move on into our next topic, which is building communities. So we started at, being found on SEO, moving into the website, down the funnel to closing the deal. After we close the deal, we want to move them into community, and building community that becomes your best marketing channel. And you can even get them in your community before you close the deal, really. Yeah.
It's really on both sides, or all sides of the funnel, right? Like, community is such an interesting thread.
Yeah. Kick us off.
Yeah. So I think maybe to start with, I think there's just this trend of like, let's start a community. Yeah, that's a great question, David. I think people misunderstand community a little bit because they confuse it with audience. An audience are the people who tune in, that listen in, that maybe like your LinkedIn comment or comment on your LinkedIn post, right? Maybe they read your newsletter actively, right? Those are all fantastic people to have, but that's an audience. That's not a community. And maybe that's it. Like, maybe building a great loyal audience is what you need to do for your business, and that's fantastic. But community gets thrown around a lot, and community is actually where there's actual feeling of belonging amongst the people. ¿Cuál es la diferencia entre público y comunidad? That's exactly what I'm explaining. So a community is where people actually identify, or when they help each other, and when they interact and help each other, even though you're not necessarily in the room, right? That's, for me, real community. And that one has like it's much harder to track ROI, because let's say you invest so much in building a community, right? Like, you have a Slack channel, maybe you even splurged and are paying for like a paid Slack subscription. Maybe you're organizing meetups and you're doing all these things for your community, but then like maybe the CEO, maybe a revenue leader are asking you like, so what's the revenue, what's the ROI? And that's such a hard moment, because ROI from things like events is already hard, and community is even harder, because it's a long-term investment, right? It won't, the ROI, you will not see it in a year or in 2 years, but it's going to be, if you do it right, if you invest it in it in the right way, you will notice it from the conversations that happen, again, when you're not there, right? This is where your champions are gonna come from, when there's a decision that needs to be made, right? Like maybe you can call up someone to kind of recommend, to talk to your prospect, right? If you can pick up a phone and be like, hey, like, I know you're using us, I know you're helping, fix bugs and like talking to our product team a lot. Can you jump on a call tomorrow with this prospect of ours to tell them how amazing our tool is, right? That's how those are the sort of huge benefits, and they really do impact revenue. It's just very, very time consuming, and very, very, it has to come from a place of selflessness.
I love that selflessness. Yeah, like you got to give, and then receive,
and not expect anything.
Yeah, so true. What are some of your favorite communities, Bianca?
Oh, I really like Exit 5.
Exit 5, yes.
They are a really good community.
He was a big inspiration of mine, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I listened to his early podcast, EGMG, like back in the day when I was a full-time CMO still. And that kind of inspired me, first of all, just seeing him do it. I'm like, maybe I could do that, but maybe I'll do it live. But then I went to his first event in Vermont. It was kind of like a small micro event, like 100 people there, marketers primarily. And gosh, it was just like so informative for B2B marketing content. Like there's not very many specific like B2B marketing only. And he was like, the CMO at HubSpot, like all these like really, and at the time when they were like growing, like startup. So like he knows like how to scale a startup. And is it Privy that he worked at as a CMO? I read his book, Founder Brand. That also inspires me in my work every day. So like interesting that you say, that in his community. Awesome. So how about you, Kevin? What are some of your favorite communities, and talk to us about your thoughts with community?
Yeah. So I love Alluvians. I don't know if you know it, but it's fantastic. It's about the inner game, but they talk, it's for your sales professionals. And I got to say, that's probably my favorite one out there. There's so many different ones, and I'm a part of different like local ones, even though I just moved to Florida. There's some good ones down there as well. Like, I don't know. I know a lot of people get some mixed reviews, but the Chamber of Commerce, I got to tell you, like, it's been great. Like the local where you could go shake some hands, talk to people. It's been pretty solid so far. And with community, it's key. You need, nobody's perfect. And two, it helps with learning, because you always want to constantly just level up your game and raise your game. And, with community, you understand, I'm on X and I build different things, and talking to different developers, but there's some great communities out there, where you're just like leveling up, getting that knowledge, because especially with AI, there's so much information being thrown at us every single day. And if there's other people out there, I go to hackathons a lot, quite frankly. So like the local hackathons, so I'm sure you can find one in your city. I would say if you're thinking about learning AI, anything like that, or not sure, go, because you don't have to be, a developer to go to these hackathons. And I will tell you, the first one I went to down in Miami, they couldn't have been nicer. And now there's a group of us. So, but community is key. It really is. And it helps, at the end of the day with, just our attitude and everything. If you're just doing stuff by yourself, it's never fun, whether it's cooking or learning AI. Or selling.
That's so true. Yeah, there's so many different kinds of communities. It's interesting you say that. Like one of the first communities I was in, it was a admin for. It was like a Facebook community or group, I guess we were calling it at the time, of women who were working and like breastfeeding at the same time. So like pumping. So it was like very niche. And that really like just opened my eyes to the power of community, and just like in that nuanced time of life. But yeah, I mean, there's little niches on the internet, a little corner of the world for everyone out there. Of course, we can nerd out on our marketing and sales ones, which, shameless plug. I've got two. We put them in WhatsApp. They're free. WinsDay winners. It's basically like we'd love to have both of you there, but we always suggest people keep it on mute. It's basically fans of this show, people who come on the show, clients, other people who want to grow on LinkedIn, who are primarily sales or marketing. And then one that's just women. And we have a retreat once a year, though. Need to think about the next retreat. But it's also just like women in sales or marketing who are trying to grow on LinkedIn. And yeah, it's about being authentic and being a part of the conversation and not just coming in and dropping your links. You don't want to be that person just like coming in and sharing your posts. Like, no, like engage in the conversation. This is such a good conversation, by the way, and I could keep talking about community all night long. But I want to wrap it up and give you the opportunity to do so for us, Bianca, since it is one of your topics. What would you end with in terms of building community?
I think it's worth building community. I do encourage everyone to kind of build a community around like the passion that you have, because I imagine if you work in a business, like I'm going to assume it's sort of like there's a core that is just passionate about helping people solve a problem. So I do encourage people to build a community around solving that problem, but yeah, do not expect ROI fast.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's definitely playing the long game, like any good marketer knows as well. And good seller, because good sellers know marketing and good marketers know selling. But I digress. I want to learn a little bit more about you both. But before we do, we just have one last segment. The Guru of the Week. Ooh, the Guru of the Week. Ooh. So we just spent the last hour being inspired by both of you, but who inspires you on LinkedIn that is your guru of the week? Bianca?
I'm gonna be a little bit maybe that's a little bit self-promoting, but Alina Vanderberger, the CEO of Chili Piper, is absolutely amazing on LinkedIn, and she has this like we're really lucky because we're actually on our team right now meeting every week to kind of support each other in building our audience on LinkedIn. And Alina has just been the best person to give us advice on how to do it and how to tell stories, real life stories on LinkedIn that actually come from the heart, that have like that moment of transformation. And it's just, her storytelling on LinkedIn is absolutely amazing. And whether you're interested in B2B SaaS or not, doesn't really matter, because she just has this magical way of telling stories. Definitely worth checking out.
Absolutely. She is so dynamic and just amazing. You have to go follow her content. And you can tell she doesn't use AI. She's like writing from the heart, telling you her real stories about her mother, about her children, and she's growing this multi-million-dollar organization. Like, it's just so fascinating to watch her. And I love that you guys have that culture. That was really the biggest takeaway from Chili Palooza with me, was like, you guys have this culture where your whole team is supporting each other. You like, I can see why you're growing so fast. Like even Alina, you're all, she's not at a different level. She's really with all of you, and you all communicate so well. And the event was so smooth and so amazing. And it's just been a pleasure having you on our show. But Kevin, we want to hear from you too. Who's your guru of the week?
Sure. And I second the Alina. I follow her on LinkedIn. She's great. With all the AI slop out there. But no, Alex Kremer, he's the founder of Illuvians. He was in sales. Awesome. Just really authentic what he's building and helping people, because he's working on the inner game and just helping people, giving them clarity, getting them on the right path, helping them find their purpose. He's sharing stories. He, sales professional, and he's the ups and downs, the left and rights. I've been to his retreats all across the country. awesome group of people. He gives out free content. So if anybody needs to get a hold of him, feel free to reach out. But he truly is just like, what he's doing it's exciting to watch his journey. And it's, as he would say, it's the beginning of the beginning. And it's just super cool just to see him. And
Can you spell his name for me? What was it?
Sure. So it's Alex, and then it's Kremer, Kremer.
Okay.
Then,
he's my second connection, second degree. All right, I just tagged him in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's great. He has about 30,000 people following him.
30,000. Wow, let's go.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So I actually need to get that comment going here so you can see that. But amazing. Now, before we go, one last thing is we want to learn more about both of you. We've got 3 minutes, and we want to know more about, what it is you do during the day, who it is you serve, how you serve them, and if they could be served by you or the companies you work with, how do they connect with you? We'll start with you this time, Kevin.
Sure. Yeah, you could connect with me. LinkedIn. I'm on it constantly. So you could just DM me, connect with me. Happy to help you. My network is your network. So whatever I could do, if you're trying to get into a business, I just love bringing value to people. My day-to-day right now is I'm helping organizations, mainly, mid-size, small to medium companies, really understand how do they leverage speed and AI to drive value, to scale. And we're literally putting together plans because people just think they could hop in. But we'll sit there, we'll put together a plan. And, if you want us to build it out for you, we could do that. You want to take it to somebody else, you could do that too. But for us, it's just really shortening that gap, because everybody's, and I said this before, on a pilot, and it seems that nothing really goes to production. I think it's less than like 23% of projects go to production. We'll help you take it to production. So it's exciting. It's fun. We love it. And happy to connect.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And how about you, Bianca? Could you also share a little bit more about yourself?
Absolutely. I work in marketing at Chili Piper. And Chili Piper, we help companies convert the demand that's already on your website, right? So I think that explains a little bit why I'm so passionate about, websites and converting demand. So when a buyer shows up, when they're ready, we help really personalize the website, share with them create the right website experience for them, and then route them to the right rep and let them book instantly. Instead of losing them somewhere in the dark corners of your website. And I did mention some data. We actually had a really cool benchmarks report get released, one for mid-market, and we're releasing, I think tomorrow, one for enterprise companies. So if you're interested in how many people, how leads actually convert on websites these days, happy to send you a link. You can just connect with me on LinkedIn. If you can just type in my name and last name, and I'll accept the connection request, and I'll send you the benchmarks report if you're curious.
Yeah, that sounds like a really great report. I definitely would love to see it, Bianca. So count me in. But it's the top of the hour. This has been another really great episode of WinsDay. Thank you both so much for staying up with us. I know. Well, wait, where are you tuning in from tonight? Bianca, you're in Colombia, so that's Central Time. So it's
Central Time, yeah, 8 p.m.
You're not in Poland right now. It's not like the middle of the
night. Jessie, I know. That would be a little bit torturous.
Yeah, exactly. We do get some people who tune in from Europe once in a while when we're lucky, but yeah, it's a hard time. I'm glad this all worked out. This was an amazing conversation. And I appreciate both of you staying on with us tonight.
Loved it.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And for everyone else, we'll be right back here, same time, same place next week. I hope you all have a great week. We will see you both backstage. Everyone else, we'll see you next week.